divine. No need to chase, no need to fight. All is found in being alive with this thought so pure, so deep. The soul stands still in silence steeped, free from bondage in a second. No more limits, no more fear. Like a star we shine in silence. The path is strong, the aim is clear. With love so deep and heart so wide, we serve the world from truth inside. Children of light, a sacred guide, and peace flows in like the rising tide. No ego claims, no selfish motive. This life is lived with love foremost. He moves the steps, we let him guide, and in that trust we can fly again. The ego fades, the soul arises. His gentle work flows through our hands. No pride, no fear, no need to win. Just silent strength that flows within. To be loving and detached, soft and strong, perfectly matched, with power, peace, and clarity. This is our true identity. Now we rise and take our place with quiet minds and fearless grace. This is the gift we've come to give, to help the world remember to live.
Good evening and Om Shanti, everyone.
Good
Om
evening.
Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Good evening. Good
Om Shanti.
Welcome, Sister Sharda.
Thank you. A very warm welcome and thank you for joining today's Insight session, an opportunity for us to learn, reflect, and grow. Whether you are joining us from near or far, we are glad to have each of you. I am truly honored to welcome our special guest speaker, who is no other than our beloved sister Sherry Jackson. Our beloved sister is from Guyana. She's an educator for nearly 30 years, taught at primary, secondary, and special needs school. Sister Sherry is currently a Raj Yoga student. Our beloved sister is a very energetic, strong, inspiring individual and also balances her responsibilities with grace. Today's session titled Surrender and Acceptance. Please join me in warmly welcoming our beloved sister Sherry Jackson. Also, there's a question and answer session, so please feel free to jot down your questions as we go on. A very warm welcome once again to Sister Sherry.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sister Sharda, for that beautiful and warm introduction. You know, hear that coming from you. When you said 30 years, I said, wow. Like that it registered to me how many years would have elapsed. Thank you very much. I would also like to take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you online and in person as well. And As you would have said, Sharda, it is an opportunity for us to learn, reflect, and, share and think. And I always welcome programs like these because it helps us to grow spiritually. It improves our spirituality, and also it gives us the opportunity to share with others and help to empower each other. So, years ago, I used to welcome the idea of watching certain programs. They're not beneficial, they're more worldly. And as time go by, as I age, I understand the importance of getting in touch with my inner self, my inner being. It has become very, very important for me over the years to strengthen my spirituality. So tonight's topic is no stranger to us because I know that each and every one of you can relate to having issues with control. And as much as we would want to, as much as we would want to claim that, okay, we're doing it for the benefit of ourselves and others, it don't always work out that way. Having control over people and situations, it means that you're not operating from a higher consciousness. Most often, it's from a place that is not so spiritually grounded and developed. I know online with us here, we have persons who are Raj Yoga students as well. And I know that you're grateful that you're a student and you're given the opportunity to get teachings that will help you to release and let go of things that you cannot control, but it takes practice. So tonight's topic is surrender and acceptance, embracing what is beyond our control. And when I say embracing, it doesn't mean that, you look forward to negative things. It just means that you go with the flow and you come to that realization that everything is working out the way that it should. Everything is working out according to plan, and it's also according to a higher plan. So it's all about releasing and releasing that need to control outcomes, other people's actions, or the past, recognizing that peace comes from trust and acceptance. So the main theme here is to trust and accept. So let us look at the two definitions. Surrender first, what surrender really means. And it doesn't mean giving up or throwing in the towel. It doesn't mean that. It means a conscious decision to let go of resistance. You're making that effort not to resist, just to go with the flow. So it doesn't mean that you're throwing the towel and give up and say, okay, that is it. No, that is not what it means. And acceptance is recognizing reality as it is without denial or judgment. So acceptance as well does not mean resignation, that you resign to your fate, whatever happened, that is it, right? So I needed to define those two words so that you would not get a misconception that surrender and acceptance mean that you just take whatever comes just like that. You just go with the flow, it means. So I really find this topic interesting because I have had and still do have some challenges with control, because sometimes you get this false sense of realization that, okay, once I could control things, It means that everything gonna be okay. It gives you that false sense of security when you are in control and you have everything under control. But it's not always like that, you know. It it doesn't last long. It's not authentic. When you see you try to control everything that happen or some things that happen, and it begins within our household. So there's a reason why we struggle with control. Why, even as children, we want to dominate everything and we grow into it. So the first reason why we have issues with control is because of cultural pressure to take charge. And that is so true. Even as children, our parents would tell us, you know, you have to be strong or you're letting this person bully you. Or they would tell you that, they would give you tell you these words. Even with your eating, sometimes they would force you to eat things that you don't even like. And that is their way of controlling you. When you become a teen, as you grow up and you become a teen, they want to direct your career path. They want to live their life through you. So I know that most of us who have children, we are guilty of that. I'm not saying that I am not, but we do these things out of fear because of certain experiences we would have had. We think that by controlling someone else, whether it's our children, our friend, whether it's your spouse, whether it's a colleague, we think that, okay, for some of us, that we are protecting them and we are sheltering them. And then at the same time, it gives us this feeling that, okay, everything is okay. I'm on top of my game. So from very young, we're being told and coerced into taking charge, you know, like we would tell our boy children, you are the man of the house, you need to take charge. And we would indoctrinate them by telling them that, okay, you must not cry, it's weak to cry and all these things. So there's so many things that we learn as children from our environment growing up, the immediate environment, which is the home. So second reason why we want to control, why some of us have issues with it, is because of being vulnerable to, we don't want to show persons that we are soft then. So we don't want to show that vulnerable side to us. So we put on a front and we show that, okay, I have this, but sometimes it's not necessary, you know? So the next reason why we have issues with control is because of attachment. Attachment to outcomes and identities. So with Raj Yoga teaching and Raj Yoga meditation, it gives us that empowerment to reduce our level of attachment to people, to place, to events, to outcomes. And it's a practice, it's a daily practice. So for those of you who are joining for the first time, consider Raj Yoga meditation and you will see the difference. It won't happen overnight. With daily practice and commitment, you will see the transformation. So attachment to outcomes, a next reason, which is a big reason, the ego, being ego driven, the need to fix others, you know, so I would say micromanaging person. And it takes a lot out of you to do that. So control is really and truly an illusion. It's not real. it's an illusion because it is not coming from a soul conscious level. It is not really soul conscious, because if it is coming from a higher consciousness, then there you will get that understanding that there is no need to control anything, because you would have come to that realization that nothing belongs to you, that you're just an actor here on this world stage carrying out your part, and when you're finished, you have to go. However you go, you have to go. So if you keep that within your mind, within your intellect, that okay, I have all these things, I have all these people around me, I need them for me to do what I have to do, maybe to overcome some karma, to clear some sanskars, we need each other. And each person, they're playing their role in this whole scheme of life. So that is why when you operate from a level of attachment, especially bodily attachment, body consciousness, it affects the way how we process things, the way how we react to other person, because we don't see them as souls, we just see bodies, we see labels, we see identities, we see what they do, and we group it as right or wrong. So even with careful planning, I'll just give an example. Let us say you have to bake a cake. This is a simple example. You put all the ingredients. You put the right amount of salt. You put the right amount of yeast, flour, everything. All the ingredients, the sugar, everything, and you mix it up. And when you put it in the oven to bake it, you cannot predict how it will come out. Sometimes it don't come out the way you expect it to come out. And that is just an example, right? That we could do our part, but there's no guarantee that the outcome will suit us. So that is just a simple example of letting us know that control is not really in our control, because things do not really turn out the way how we may always want it. So some persons take care of their spiritual body. They're into spirituality. They take care of their physical body. They exercise, they eat right. They do all that is necessary. Yet for all, you don't have any control when you get ill or not. An illness could come suddenly, irrespective of all the effort you are putting in to take care of yourself. Even with your spiritual teachings and your spiritual practice, you find that you could still get an emotional breakdown. You could still get anxiety and all of that. So there's no guarantee that all the effort that you're putting in, that you will be able to be in control. Relationships can change suddenly. You might tell yourself, okay, myself and this person, we are good. We're okay. Where is a friend, where is a family member, and then suddenly something goes wrong, or that person leave your life, or y'all are separated for whatever reason. All of that. Even careers could change suddenly. You might be in a perfect job, earning all this money, and then suddenly you don't have it anymore because it would have changed. So how much control do we really have? So when we try to control things that is beyond our control, something happens. You want something to turn out a certain way, and it doesn't. The next reaction is disappointment. So it doesn't go your way, you're disappointed. And it raises your stress level. You become anxious. Anxiety steps in. All these physical reaction occur, even depression, because you lost so-called control over someone, over a situation or event. So control leads to disappointment. It also leads to burnout, mental, physical, and emotional burnout, all because we are expecting a certain outcome. We are expecting persons to do as we say, and it affects us in that way. So don't push, do not pull. Don't use any force. A push is a force, a pull is a force. So you're not trying to draw anything towards you. You're not trying to push anything away, just be. And things will flow. I'm not saying that you won't get challenges, that you will not, you will just lay back and just throw the towel in. No, you don't throw down the towel. You just stay focused, stay grounded, stay calm, and go with the flow, because whatever is happening don't last forever. It too shall pass. It will come and it will go. So according to Brahma Kumari's teaching, for those of you who are students, we call God Baba, and he says there, he teaches us, nothing is mine. Everything belongs to Baba. He is the master and I am the instrument. And that should be one of our mantras. We can adapt it. So there's an activity I would like us to do. A simple activity. You just need a pen and paper. Shanti, oh, you want to take more? Okay. So, just get a piece of paper, a simple page for this activity. So on this piece of paper, you draw a large circle. The circle must be large enough to hold a phrase or almost a sentence. Within the circle on top, you will put "in my control." At the very top of the circle, "in my control." I will call out some phrases and I want you to listen very carefully to it. And you decide if you want to put it in the circle or outside of the circle. So when I read the phrase, think about it and decide whether you will put it in the circle or outside of the circle. Because outside of the circle, somewhere in the corner, you will write these words, "out of my control." So you put a little distance away from that circle, "out of my control." So you decide where you want to put these sentences, and then we'll conclude. So the actions of others. The actions of others, where will you put it? In the circle or outside of the circle? The actions of others. The next phrase, my thoughts and actions. My thoughts and actions. Where will you put that? In the circle or outside of the circle? And don't forget, inside the circle mean in my control. Then we have the past and the future. Where will you put that? The past and the future. Inside or outside? Next, what I give my energy to. And when I'm talking about energy, I mean attention. What I give my energy to. Will it be in the circle or out of the circle? The outcome of my efforts. The outcome of my efforts. Next, my words. My words. The next sentence, what happens around me? Will you put it in the circle or out of the circle? What happens around me? Next, how I treat others. How I treat others, how I treat those around me. In the circle or out of the circle. The last pair, how others take care of themselves. How others take care of themselves. In the circle or out of the circle. And lastly, how I spend my free time. How I spend my free time. So just reflect on what you have inside of the circle. Reflect on what you have inside of the circle and what you have outside of the circle. So you're supposed to have 5 elements inside of the circle, 5 phrases, 5 things inside of the circle and 5 outside. Five phrases inside, 5 outside.
Present.
So I would like to invite our guest here to share what she has inside of the circle. In a few, you will get the mic to speak.
Good evening. So inside my circle, my thoughts and actions, what I give my energy to, my words, how I treat others, and how I spend my free time.
Oh, thank you. So, those of you on Zoom, I guess you heard that. Brother, did you do the activity, Brother Kurshid? You did the activity? So we'll hear from our another in-person guest.
Inside the circle, my thought and action that is under my control, past and future, my energy to my words, how I treat others, how I spend and react, how I spend my free time, that is under my control.
Okay, thank you very much. So I guess those of you on Zoom would like to share as well. And then I will tell you what should be in the circle. You can
Okay.
open your mic and share what you have inside of the circle.
Om Shanti in my circle. My thoughts and actions, what I give my energy to, my words, how I treat others, how I spend my free time. Om
Thank you
Shanti.
very much. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to share? You have anything different inside of your circle beside those 5 things? Anyone has
Let's try
anything
this.
different?
Yeah, let's try this. I put in the circle my thoughts and actions. I'm in control of the past and the future. What I give my energy to, the outcome of efforts, my words, how I treat others, and how I spend my free time. So I
Okay.
have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in my
7
yeah, I have
in
about
your
7 in my
circle.
circle.
Well, we will discuss
Om
it.
Shanti.
It should be 5. And as we go along, I will tell you why. Anyone has anything different? Okay. Anyone else would like to share?
Om Shanti. I have the same 5 that coaching by and the 2 people read. I don't have anything different, the same 5.
Okay. Thank you. So before I go ahead and I tell you what are the 5 things that should be in the circle, just understand that that circle represents the inner you, that inner being. That inner circle is the area, spiritually I'm speaking, where you can retreat, where you can reflect, where you can make decisions and have full control. You can have full control because it's your turf. Nobody or nothing should disturb that inner circle. Think about it. If you're at home alone, it's night. You hear a knocking on the door. You go to the window, you look out. You see someone that you don't recognize. Will you open the door? We already know the answer. You don't know the person, you don't open the door. You will not let them in. Hence, there are certain things that you don't let to come in your space. And whatever is out there, you don't try to control it. So there are more things that I could have given, more phrases, but I just looked at 5. So within the inner circle, what you have control over is your thoughts and your action. You can choose what thoughts you want to entertain. Thoughts come and go. It's like traffic, up and down, up and down. Sometimes you just out of the blue, different thoughts will come. But you could decide which one you want to entertain. So that's the first one. The second one, the past and the future. Some persons mention that they have that within the circle. We don't have control over our past because we cannot go back and change it. But we can torture ourselves by reliving past events in our mind. So we cannot change the past, but sometimes the past tends to haunt us. And we would post-mortem on things that happen, but there's nothing we can do about the past. The most we can do is learn from it and move forward. We cannot control the past, neither the future, because the future is not there as yet. The only time we have is now, in this now moment. And even though we might be planning for future events, we don't have any control over what happened in the future. It's out of our hands. The second thing, your words, my words, what you say to people. You have control over that, how you speak, how you interact. And that is why with Raj Yoga meditation, it teaches you how to calm the mind. It teaches you how to pause before speaking. It gives you a certain level of control. With practice, of course, as I said before. The next thing, how I treat others. You have control over that, irrespective of a person, nationality, the religion, the color, whatever. We have control how we treat others. That power is within us to use kindness, humility, empathy. So, and finally, how you spend your free time. How you spend your free time, you have control over that. You either spend it doing productive thing, you either spend it in service, helping others, improving yourself spiritually, and growing in positive way. Or you could spend it in gossip, in negativity, in watching things that you cannot control, like the news, especially certain news that always gives negative feedback about all the ills that is happening around the world. Sometimes I used to be drawn by it, but now I don't find it interesting. I would listen to the news to get information because I need to know what is going on around me, but I don't be attached to it like before. So those are the five things that we can control. One person mentioned that you can control the outcome of your efforts. The person who said that, can you say why you think that you can control the outcome of your efforts? Do you think
I
you can?
Om Shanti. I am on a journey. I'm on a spiritual journey. So whatever that I am doing or whatever I am accountable for, that's how I feel. I'm accountable for what is at the end. What is at the end? So I'm out- I'm responsible for the outcome of my efforts. No one else is. I'm the one who's going to make that determination. Om Shanti. Help me out on
Okay.
that one.
Yes, well, the outcome. Okay, we are on the spiritual part. Both you and I are Raj Yoga students. We are given certain tools every day that we can use to grow spiritually. For me, what I could tell you, I'm being honest, that on this journey, sometimes I don't get the effect that I want because even now I still struggle with waste thoughts. But yet for all I have the knowledge, I have the tools. So in my mind, I don't have that control because it should not happen. After all these years, you know, I still have that challenge and I still have to keep practicing. I could do all the preparation for, let us say, like, let us take a next example, a job interview. You're going for a job. You have your resume. You have all the qualifications. You have the personnel. You have everything that it takes, and you go to that interview. There's no guarantee that you will get a job. The outcome of that may not be that you get the job. So, in my opinion, I'm thinking that we don't really have control. Yes, we'll make the preparation, the efforts, as you say, but the final results is unpredictable. So anyone else would like to share?
So you think it could be inside and outside too? Because
could only be-
if I'm about to take an examination, a test, I am responsible for that outcome. The effort that I'm going to put in, that's what I am responsible for. No one else is. That teacher, that test person, they don't. I'm the one who's going to put out. I'm the one who has the tools to make that happen.
But you don't have any control over the score that you receive. Isn't that so? You don't have any control over the score. You're responsible for the outcome, but you don't have control over the outcome. Yes, you might want 90%, but you might get 70. Anyone would like to add to that? Yes, we are responsible. But the thing is, can we control it? Can we say, okay, at the end of this test, I'll be getting 90%? Sometimes you make a mistake.
Shanti, on that note, I would say, yes, you put in so much. You prepared for the test, right? You're preparing, you're studying. But from the time you're studying, preparing at this moment, from now to the time you do the test, and whilst doing the test, something can happen. We have no control of what can happen. Maybe we can fall sick, something or the other. So we always say God is in charge, right? We don't know whatever we do. We leave it to him. Because we have so much, that stands scars and everything we have to think about. So that's my take on it, Shanti.
Sister Sherry, you talk about the interview for a job, right? I may
Yes.
have all the qualification and I go with confidence. There might be better people who have better qualification, or maybe their personality they may have better than me. So many things which I don't know. So I'm not in control who will be chosen.
That is
I put
it.
my best into it, but I'm not sure if I will be chosen. There are many others who may apply for that.
Yes.
Shanti.
So the thing about it, you did the preparation, you did the work. Likewise with the test. You studied hard, but you didn't get the score that you wanted. I have seen that happen, especially at tertiary education, where persons had scuffle over who is valedictorian. Person fight up so hard, wanted to be valedictorian. And because they didn't get it, they didn't show up to graduation. So trying to control the outcome leads to disappointment. It's always good to go with an open mind. Try not to control. Even though we might desperately want it to be this way, it's just good to just go with the flow and know that whatever you get is God's plan. Whatever you get is that it's meant for you. Sometimes the job that is not the right job for you. Sometimes the score that you get, it could be a low score, but it just means you have to work harder to get a higher one. So it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting that, especially that particular statement, is the interpretation. You cannot control the outcome of anything really. It could work in your favor though, but you don't have any control.
Okay, I was just trying to cheat. And I asked my granddaughter, she's here from college, and she said, I would put it on the, as you said, out of control, because sometimes things don't go your way. It doesn't matter what work you put into it. So I'll take the final on that.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Yulin. So is there anyone else who would like to share, add to this, give another example? Especially something that we have control over in our life. Something that wasn't mentioned. Is there any other example of things that we can control? We have control over that. Any other example? There's more. Okay. Well, in that way, we will move on. So there are some daily practices, things we can do daily to cultivate the culture of surrender and acceptance. There are things that we could practice in our daily life. And we could also take a page out of nature. Nature has it correct. Think about a tree. It's overridden with bird vine. It don't fight. It don't fight up. That bird vine will engulf that tree and take over, and both of them exist together. There's no fighting. Think about the fact that the changing weathers that we have in various countries, what the trees do, they adapt. They adapt to the winter, they adapt to spring, they adapt to summer. They adapt to the changing season, even in countries where it does have rainy season and dry season. They blend. So we could cultivate some of that same attitude in terms of acceptance. I'm not saying that, you know, if you're now well, you don't take medication to help yourself. That's not what I'm saying, right? So you still have to do whatever you have to do, right? So one of the practices that I have at the top of my list is Raj Yoga meditation. And for those of you who are joining for the first time, I would encourage you to join, start with the lesson, the course, and take it from there and see how it resonates with you. But it's a beautiful practice because Raj Yoga meditation connects you to that inner being, it connects you to God. And we know that we are all soul. And when you are doing Raj Yoga meditation, you're connecting to that soulful aspect of you. You're becoming soul conscious. You're connecting to the divine that is pure, that is benevolent, that is peaceful, loving, and has unconditional love. Because God doesn't want anything from us. All he wants us to do is to take time out and remember him and connect. So with Raj Yoga meditation practice over time, it gives you that strength. And for me, I'm testimony to that, where years ago, there's so many things I used to get worked up about: anxiety, stress level, headaches, and all of that. But now you find that it has lessened. It's not 100% gone, but I'm more able to manage how I react to things, how I deal with situations, how I react to people. Because when you go out there, some persons don't be kind to you. Persons will tell you all sort of things. Some persons will test you to see how you would react. And if you're a sponge and the slightest thing you become reactive, they will come at you over and over again. So you have to build that strength to just, ignore certain things. Ignore the all right. I don't know if you're aware of this term. They call it the false matrix. For those of you who study certain topics, they call it the false matrix because what is real is within you. So Raj Yoga meditation is beautiful in helping us to connect with the Supreme Soul. The second self-care practice I have is to do self-review. You could do it at the end of the day, in the evening, after work or after an activity. For those of you who are in the workplace, you could do it when you get home or even on the workplace. You take time out to see how you're going, how you're doing, how you're dealing with situations, especially challenges that come your way. How are you dealing with that difficult coworker who is always in your face about something, who's always criticizing you? How are you dealing with that difficult family member who does not agree with what you're doing or who is taking advantage of your good-naturedness? How are you dealing with that? So that will help you to self-reflect and see where you could make improvement. So you could also reflect on where you have resistance in your life, what you're trying to control, what you're trying to resist, and just release it and let it go. Or just ask God to take it. And you could do that during your meditation too. So once you recognize the challenge that, okay, I have this issue here where of control and so on, then you just release it gently, observe it, don't criticize yourself and tell yourself, okay, why I'm like this. No, you just observe it and recognize that, okay, this is not good for me. This is not in my best interest, and you let it go. You have soul conscious drills. Every day, remind yourself, I am a soul. I am a soul. And the persons who I am interacting with, they are souls as well. Keep that in mind. I don't want, I might come across as a bit, this example here might be a bit tough. But when we die, they don't talk about, they don't call you by name. They said, oh, Mary Jane was discovered, or they said, oh, somebody died unexpectedly. What they say? They move the body. You don't even have a name then. They move the body. They said, okay, bring the body for us to dress the body. You lose your identity. It doesn't matter. The part that is eternal is the soul. That is the most valuable part, not the vehicle. So if we start operating from a soul conscious level and not seeing persons, the bodily form, the name, the identity, the role, then things for us will be so much easier. Life would be very smooth, except for the challenges that come now and then. So there are also affirmations that you can say. There are affirmations that you can say. Like, for example, I have one written down here. Everything is exactly as it should be. I perform all actions with detachment. So you go about your daily business, but not with attachment. Just be the observer and just play a role and just see the roles of others that they're playing their part, I'm playing my part. So you could say affirmation. So when you would have learned to overcome this whole thing about being in control, and you learn to surrender and accept and just go with the flow, do what is necessary and go with the flow, then you will get inner peace. There's no longer any fighting with anyone or fighting with things that we don't have any control over, like the traffic in the morning. What will you do? You got to stay and sit in it. You have to wait and go with the flow, or take a different route if possible. But if you're stuck in a traffic jam, there's nothing really you could do. You just have to wait until the traffic starts flowing. So when you learn to accept and surrender, you have spiritual power. Some persons believe that control gives power, but no, surrender is the one that gives power, because it takes a lot to let go. So surrendering and acceptance is empowerment. You're able to conserve your energy too, because these things wear you down emotionally and mentally when you don't have that control over things you cannot control. It wears you down. You keep thinking over and over, maybe I should do it this way, or this person is disrespecting me. No, you stay within your self-respect and your self-sovereignty. It's all about you. It starts with the individual. So when you learn to surrender and accept, you have more loving relationships, more cohesion, less friction, and a more harmonious environment. So, because whatever we inculcate, it kind of rubs off. If you're not a rowdy person, you would find that people, when they come around you, they won't come around in this rowdy way. You understand? We live in a world of energy and vibration. So you stay within your sovereignty and share that blessing. You don't have to say anything sometimes. Your mere presence alone could transform persons around you. So there is something that is a very popular, what I must say, it's a prayer, but it's very popular. I think it has become overused, but I will still mention it. The Serenity Prayer. The Serenity Prayer is a very good example of something that you can say. You could even have it on your wall, at work, at home, and you read it at least once a day. Just a reminder. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, wisdom to know the difference, and the wisdom to know the difference. I know that many of you are familiar with that prayer, the Serenity Prayer. So I will just like to briefly go through the lines. God grant me the serenity. You're asking God to give you that peace. And that peace could come from remembrance through Raj Yoga meditation. The next aspect is to accept the things I cannot change. Accept the drama. Let go of resistance. Trust each soul's part is fixed and accurate in this drama. Courage to change the things I can. You can change your thoughts. You can change your vibrations. You could even change your sanskars or karma, I should say. You can change that. That is your power, especially when it comes to the thoughts. A negative thought, come and change it. Let it go. And finally, wisdom to know the difference. Wisdom comes from being soul conscious. It comes from soul conscious awareness. So through meditation, we develop clarity on where to act and where to surrender, right? So the Serenity Prayer kind of sums up, that whole notion that we don't have to fight life. We just flow. Just be like a twig on water. It is there, the river is running, and the twig is there, going through all the bends and the turns with ease, without obstruction. You know, if somebody should throw dirty water into the ocean, will the ocean resist? No. The ocean will not resist. That water will blend in to the ocean. Acceptance. The ocean will say, well, oh, this is dirty water, get out. No, everything blends in. There's nature, right? So I would like to conclude with a question. I know that maybe some of you might have questions, but I would like to conclude with a question. I would like to ask you if you're willing to share. What is one thing in your life right now that you are trying to control? What is there anything right now in your life that you're trying to control and you would like to share? Anything that, okay, I'll share first. I'm sharing from, I'm being honest. One of the things that I couldn't deal with is having gray hair. I used to dye my hair every 2 weeks, very often, to hide the gray hair. But now it has become overbearing because the dye, they're not working, it's not staying. So I would have accept gracefully that, hey, my hair is graying, it's turning white, it's part of the process. It is a natural part of aging. I'm not going to fight with it. I'm not saying that I will not dye my hair, but what I'm saying is that I won't do it as often in trying to hide, cover up, and if I look in the mirror, see the hair and so gray hair showing, I would get it dyed so it could remain black. Huh? So no more resistance to that. Anyone would like to share? We learn from each other. There must be something. Think about it. Something that you want to control, but you need to release. Hello? Is there anything?
I would say patience.
Oh. So you're trying to control your level of patience.
Level of patience.
Okay.
I would
And
say
how have you been successful with that? What you
I-
think about?
due to our teaching and due to our process of we're going through, I try to stay calm. Don't react, don't respond. Just let it go and give it time to work. Or for let this to let the to let whatever I'm impatient about, give it time, let it work out. Let it work its way out.
Yes, we all have some of that in us where we get out of patience sometimes. We don't have that patience. We want things to go fast or go accordingly, but like for example, I in the process of building a home, and I was thinking that by August month I would like to move in, but the contractor told me that there's no way he could finish by then. He said that the rain is falling, the things have to cure. I was disappointed, but not for long. Acceptance. I accept that whatever is done, and I will move in one day when the time is right. So patience.
We talk about doctor's appointment, going to the doctor's office. That's the biggest one. They give you an 8 o'clock and you still gotta go there. You're waiting there until 10. One could be a big one. Waiting online. That's
Okay, you're muted, Sister Yulin. I didn't hear that last part.
I said waiting online. That's one of them that you don't have the patience to stand there and you know. But
Yes.
what I do to accommodate, I will go 20 minutes early, an hour early to see if it works, but sometimes it doesn't.
Yes, and not just doctor's office alone, going to certain places like the bank, that is quite a long drawn out process.
Shanti. In connection with, I just want to share because I also have a problem with impatience. But what I found in those situations that you just mentioned, like the bank online, blah, 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 I have started in my mind just chanting whether I'm a being of peace, I'm a peaceful being. And it really is amazing how that just, or, like a mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, or whatever mantra you have, or Om Shanti, how that changes my whole mind and my whole vibration, and just like boop, the time goes by and you're there. So yeah, but it takes some practice. So I just thought I'd share that. Thank you.
Thank you too. Thanks for sharing. Okay, so we have a system person here. Would you like to share for the audience on Zoom? Okay. So is there anyone else?
Om
We're on a
Shanti. Om Shanti, everyone. This
Shanti.
is, yeah. You know what happens sometimes, what I'm working on is like, I'm respond to situations rather to respond. I respond rather than to react. Because in your daily life, situations will come to you. Sometimes you encounter people or situations. A lot of times it's people, human, reacting with each other. And they will say something or behave something which you might feel hurt or emotionally. But at that moment, I used to like respond at one time, but with having Gyan, I'm not responding now. The first thing I do, I try to be silent, calm the mind, and I look at the other person as a soul. I said, that person is ill. A person with his right mind and cool, they wouldn't behave like that or say certain things like that or angry like that. And that person is in pain and that person needs my help. So instead of fighting back or responding tit for tat, I react. Okay, can we talk about it later? Or, all right, I'm listening to you. I heard what you said. I'm going to get back to you or whatever is necessary. To calm that situation down and don't escalate it and give that person some peace of mind,
Yes.
So I'm working on that more and more and it's helping me a lot. Om Shanti, thank you.
Thank you too, Sister Ginda. Thank you very much. You just send the person pure wishes, pure feelings.
Yes.
And let it go. And like you, it took me, this teaching here is very good in terms of helping us to stay grounded and unshakable in certain situation. There's where the power lies. Within. Just staying calm. Anyone else would like to share before we close? Okay, so is there any question anyone would like to share, any experience anybody else would like to? Okay. Well, if not, I'll let us close with a meditation song. Just Sister Sharda.
Thank you, Sister Sherry. That was good.
Yes, if there's no more question, then you should go ahead with the meditation.
Okay.
You stay so calm, you stay so light. Your heart was full of God's light. In every word, in every smile, you walked in peace, mile by mile. You are God's jewel, so pure. Your love was deep, your aim was sure. You gave us strength, you gave us grace. You brought His light to every place. Your silence spoke more than words. Your thoughts flew high like peaceful birds. You saw each soul as bright and true, because the Supreme lived in you. You are God's jewel, so pure. Your love was deep, your aim was sure. You gave us strength, you gave us grace. You brought His light to every place. You taught us how to sit in stillness, to face the world with God's witness. Even now, we feel you near. Your presence whispers soft and clear. You didn't go, you just became the light inside the boundless flame, forever you, forever bright. A jewel who shines in silent light.
Good evening once again, everyone. On behalf of everyone, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude for the profound experience you created through today's insight session on surrender and acceptance. I'm sure this journey has touched each and every one in ways we can barely put into words. Through your guidance, I have come to understand that surrender is not weakness, but strength, the courage to let go of control, expectations, and fear. And acceptance, I have learned, is the gateway to peace, a quiet, powerful act of allowing life to be what it is and myself to be who I am. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us. I will also like to take this opportunity to thank each and everyone for joining us. Your time, presence, and participation truly means a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening and sharing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, insight.